Hello and howdy, folks. If you don't know who I am just a run-of-the-mill internet artist that goes by Miri, so you can call me that. Welcome to the speed paint. I decided for this speed paint I'm going to talk about the comic I've been making a little and kind of talk in general because I guess I wanted to ramble into the void about this project I've been working on for a little over a year now. Basically, my comic is called Whose Family, and it's centered around the girl on the left, and her name is Adi. So Adi is kind of the center of the story, or at least it's kind of told in her perspective, and I basically summarize it as she's this mysterious woman who gets in wacky shenanigans that eventually leads to some drama and meeting people she used to know. Adi is the main character, it kind of centers around her, and this is a world full of magic. Of course, because who doesn't love some good magic thrown in there? Fantasy creatures, like one of the characters is not a full elf, he's actually a part elf. And his father is half elf specifically. Hopefully I can keep up at least 2 chapters a year. I've been working on chapter 3 for a bit now. Hopefully I can have it done within the foreseeable future. I've been on break, so that's been helping. And I really need to work out a solid style, because I kinda know my art in the first 2 chapters isn't the best. But I'm gonna be working on it. So I asked people to ask me questions about this. I only got one. That's okay. I'm cool with that. And that one was by a buddy of mine. I'm going to call her T, because that's her nickname, and I'm sorry, but I do not know how to pronounce your full username. I'm sorry, my man. And she asked me what inspired you to create the comic and characters, and if there are any influences I had. And honestly, this main story, the biggest influence was actually one of my friends I had in middle school. This story has kind of been in development for several years now. And specifically like a little over 5, 6, 7-ish. So yeah, that friend of mine inspired most of the characters and more so inspired me to write in general. And I got inspired by other things to do some adjustments. Like, I'm a big fan of stoic, edgy, darker characters, and that's kind of how Adi came to be. You know, something kind of strange actually. Griffin, who is the lanky dude in the middle of the group, he was inspired by Krona for a while there. You would not be able to tell, but his original design and even his original personality was inspired a lot by Krona from Soul Eater. You would never be able to guess that, but it was. And I'm one for, like, getting inspired by something and having to put it in my world and world building or something. Like, I hope to put more Asian mythology in there, in religions and such. I really like political drama, so that's in there. My good buddy T also asked me how many chapters there are going to be in the comic. So the first comic is going to be 10 chapters, and I have those planned out. I don't know, I might end up merging a chapter or 2, or I might end up there might end up just being really short chapters, but they're going to be around 10 chapters. But this is the start of kind of this is the start of their story, basically. This comic has become, or this plot line really has become more of context for the next book that would come, which is a work in progress title that I have called Blood Brothers, and centers around these guys. Colin, the redhead on the far right, I had to boot him out of this comic a bit more because it made more sense to. In Blood Brothers, he is much more prevalent and a much more important, relevant character. So Whose Family is going to have about 10 chapters, Blood Brothers is going to be closer to 20. I'm going to either in between after I'm done with Who's Family and working on Blood Brothers, or maybe in between chapters in Blood Brothers, I plan to put in little insert comics about what happened, because there's a bit of a time gap. Like, I'm still debating whether I should make it, I don't know, 2 to 4 years. Where stuff happens in between the two comics and then they meet up together for another hurrah. So that's my plan currently. I forgot to put laces on all their shoes, because I was just so ready to be done with this, because the lining took forever. Because lining takes forever for me. And also, this drawing was kind of meant as a character sheet for me, because their designs have been altered a little, and I haven't given them proper references in a long while. So not only did I use this as a way to kind of figure out what their colors were now and how I should draw their outfits again, it's also so I could later on my own put a black and white filter over it and figure out how to best convert their designs into black and white, rather than just kind of wing it like I did for the last 2 chapters. So hopefully the chapters from now on will be a lot better looking, and hopefully I might end up playing around with the styles a bit on the chapters to figure out what makes me less intimidated, what I can work with the best. I plan to at least make the style for chapter 3 a bit different than it has been for the past 2 chapters, and hopefully make it look a bit better. Thanks for listening. I hope you check out my comic and social media. I'll link them all below. And feel free to shoot me questions or tell me you like my comic, or subscribe here, because maybe I'll be able to do more speed paints in the future. So thank you, and bye-bye.